Well, welcome back to the True Feminine podcast and or YouTube channel. I'm really excited that you're all here. And I am so incredibly excited to introduce you to my special guest today. And her name is Helena Hart. And she is just an incredible dating and relationships coach. And she's going to be talking to us about the 5 ways that she attracted her dream man, her husband, in 24 hours. And I'm sure she's probably going to give us some awesome tips on things that you can do or we could do, whoever's listening, on how to position ourselves in a way that really draws in the right man for you. So, Helena, how are you?
Great. This is so much fun. I'm so happy to be talking about this. This is actually something I've never shared anywhere else before. So I'm talking about this for the first time, but I get questions all the time. You know, for those of you who are familiar with my story, if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you know that I met my amazing husband 24 hours after joining an online dating app. So that's one of the number one questions I've been getting lately is how did you attract him so quickly? I know that's not everyone's experience with online dating, but what I'm going to share today will actually help you attract the right person for you or bring your partner closer, whether you're just meeting men in real life. It has nothing to do with online dating in and of itself, because I know that's not everybody's thing, right? So yeah, hopefully this will really help you out no matter where you are in your love life.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing because I have so many girls and I'm a big advocate for doing online dating, and I'm constantly really kind of pushing my audience into giving it a try. But I love that you just said that actually attracting the right man for you has nothing to do with being online itself. And I think people get kind of worked up about that. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So what is your first tip or your first thing that you did to bring your man in?
Yeah, the first thing is super important no matter where you are in dating and relationships, and that is healing from past relationship trauma or healing childhood wounds or parts of yourself that are actually blocking the right kind of men from showing up in your life and coming towards you. And this could look different for everybody, right? A lot of people have a fear of intimacy or truly being seen for who they really are deep down, right? And so they're dating with walls up. A lot of us, myself included, have been hurt really bad in the past. And so, you know, a guy shows up and he's actually a great guy. He's a high quality man who wants a real committed relationship, and we can be afraid and we want to shut ourselves down and run away. There's all kinds of situations here, but it's so important to do that inner child healing or, you know, healing yourself or past relationship trauma is just crucial, because if you're going out there dating from a wounded place, you're going to attract all kinds of things that you don't want. I've certainly found myself, right? Would you agree?
Oh my gosh, that I'm so glad you're saying that because I feel like I'm saying that. I say that a lot, but it's so true. And I oftentimes talk about how we have this container, like if there was like a little container inside of our bodies and our stomachs, and that was like our emotional container, you know, it's like if you haven't healed from something in your past, that container is filled up, and meaning there's no room for anyone else to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that looks like an ex that you might have or somebody you're just hung up on that you like. And I'm like, and I tell girls, maybe sometimes you're not emotionally available.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's because your container's filled up with all this junk from your past. And until you clear that container, so to speak, once that container is cleared up, then there's actually room for someone to come in. So I love that you are mentioning the inner child and going back into that. It's like there's going to be a block no matter what.
It's so important. We all have it. I mean, I have so many friends who are amazing coaches. Everybody, I mean, we've all had to do this work ourselves. I've been very open about the fact that I was actually struggling with a major depressive episode towards the end of 2019. And it turned out to be a huge blessing because it drove me to seek support and start working with my own therapist, right? My own counselor. And, you know, even after my very first session with him, things started to move really quickly. I started feeling like myself again. It was just a really good fit. If anyone's interested in who I worked with, you can always email me. I don't know if you're going to include my website or contact
Yeah, I
info,
will.
but he was amazing, totally life-changing. But there's amazing coaches and therapists out there who specialize in exactly what you're struggling with, that I just think it can't do anything but help you, right? Healing some of those wounds, rather than just kind of dating from this place where you don't, seem to be attracting what you want. Usually there's something going on internally that's causing that to happen. Something I always say is the kind of men that are showing up on the outside are like a mirror image of your own masculine energy inside of yourself, right? So if your masculine energy is not committing to yourself or not supporting your feminine energy and creating that space for her to like be there and breathe and, intuit what's going on around you, that's going to be reflected back to you on the outside in the men you're attracting. I can give some more examples of that if that would be helpful, but it's so important to understand.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. I'm so glad that you're bringing that up. Would you say that that was a huge, so going back to the ways that you were able to attract your husband, would you say that you felt like once you kind of went into that therapy and that
Mhm.
inner work, that was when it felt like maybe the inside of you opened up
Oh my
in a
gosh.
different way?
100%. Yes. For those of you familiar with my story, I've talked about this for about a year or so. I was just kind of waiting to put myself out there. I was healing from a very traumatic relationship. I wasn't ready, right? And that's okay. Nothing wrong with not being ready to put yourself out there and date, but that was being reflected back to me. When I was out and about, I would meet and attract men who were also clearly not ready for the kind of relationship I truly wanted ultimately. And deep down, neither was I, right? So rather than complaining that, no man wants to commit and they're not available and they're all so busy, I took a look at myself and saw, there's a part of myself that isn't quite ready yet. And that's
Mhm.
okay. But once I put both feet in, got the support I needed, and I might be getting a little ahead of myself here. I'll talk about that in some of these other secrets. Once I put both feet in to myself and my own healing and my own, mental state, emotional state, that was reflected back to me right away on the outside, like immediately. So it's so important, if you're attracting men who keep you waiting, you can ask yourself, where am I waiting in other areas of my life? Where am I 1 foot in and 1 foot out of committing to my own dreams and desires? If you attract men who make you feel like you're just not quite good enough, where are you being hard on yourself? Where are you self-critical and not loving, embracing, and accepting all the parts of yourself? That's something we can all relate to as well, right? So it's all related. Super interesting how it works.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
A little earpiece. I wanted to just ask one more thing before we move on to the next step, but do you find that women, I know in my coaching, experience that I find that a lot of people tend to uh, feel as though they've done enough, or
Mm.
I feel like I've done therapy, I've done counseling, but somehow you can sense that there's still some blocking there. Do you have any ideas or tips for girls to almost like self evaluate? Well, I guess you
Mm.
gave one just now, but kind of double check yourself in the sense of like, do I need to do some more work?
Well, yeah, it's easy to figure out where you're at and where your beliefs are, because it will be reflected back to you on the outside and the kind of men you're attracted to, right? If you're attracted to men who are kind of unavailable in some way, this was certainly my tendency in my past. You could say, where am I not being available to myself? Where am I a little bit afraid of intimacy or commitment? And so when an unavailable guy comes along, he feels like home to us. And you get
Mm,
that kind of um, instant chemistry or attraction because he feels like home. That's where you both feel safe. There's no risk of true intimacy. There's no skin in the game, right? So what kind of men are you attracting or feel that strong pull towards? That will help you a lot. And you can see the progression of how you're doing on the inside by the kind of men that are showing up and the kind of men you tend to get attached to. So if men keep showing up, who want to hurt you or abandon you, you know you're not quite there yet, right? But as a different kind of men start showing up, you know that you're healing on the inside, right? And by the way, none of this is, an opportunity to beat yourself up or blame yourself. That's not going to help you at all because of what I just explained. You'll attract men who want to do that to you as well emotionally. It's just about awareness. I always say awareness is the first step to turning anything around, right? So as maybe more, I don't want to say boring guys, but nice guys show up, they might not light your fire like the unavailable guy who's too busy to make future plans with you or who doesn't want to commit, but you can develop real chemistry and real intimacy with that kind of man. And it will be so much better than anything you've ever experienced once you truly heal and love yourself fully. So hopefully that makes sense. And I think the second secret will also help answer that question if you want to get into that.
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Okay.
I love what you said. And if we had more time, I would totally share my experience where after I did inner work, that's when it was almost as though my eyes became open to the genuine, solid type of men who maybe weren't that sarcastic, crazy, thrilling person.
Ooh,
but it's
yeah.
like my husband, I even was like, he's kind of a dork, and he's totally not. But he just wasn't this over thrill,
Yeah.
But he was everything that I knew my soul needed.
Oh my gosh.
And I finally was a match, like you said, like we said, like an energetic match to that. And so I could not agree with you more about that.
That is
I love that.
beautiful. I would love to hear more about that. I've just seen it happen over and over and over. There's no real exceptions to this when someone is truly, loves themselves, is fully, healed on the inside or working on that, right? That's going to be reflected back to you. And yes, that guy might not be like Mr. Charisma on the first date. I know with my husband, our first date was a little awkward. We kind of ran out of stuff to talk about. But fast forward 3-4 weeks later, we were up till 3-4 in the morning talking, connecting, right? But initially you might just not feel that crazy spark of instant chemistry. Doesn't mean that it won't develop later. And then these are the kind of guys that are the most amazing partners, so devoted, totally. So committed, like loyal, everything you could ever dream of and more. That's been my experience, at least. Sounds like for you too, right?
100%. Yeah. I'm excited to hear number 2. Are we on number 2?
Yes. This is so much fun. I could just talk to you forever about this. Yeah. Number 2 is making peace with where you are right now. So you mentioned women who have done a lot of the inner work. That's phenomenal. If the right guy hasn't showed up yet, it's okay, right? It just means you're not ready yet. And that's okay. It shouldn't hurt your feelings. You just go, he hasn't shown up yet. Therefore, I'm not ready. And that's okay. And maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's getting ready for you the same time that you're getting ready for him. So you want to own that and make peace with that rather than giving your power away and being like, where is he? He hasn't shown up, right? Or if you're in a relationship, just complaining about what's going on right now. If you're a powerful creator who has the ability to attract your desires, if you truly believe that, then it's going to show up. It's going to unfold in perfect timing. So you just trust that and then just, enjoy yourself and have fun and see every guy who shows up as a messenger, not, are you my husband? Is this the one? Right? So make peace with where you are right now. Trust that what you want is coming and it's going to all unfold perfectly rather than lamenting the fact that he hasn't shown up yet. And therefore creating more and more and more of that because that's what's in your energy. Right?
100%. I love that. And just like, seeing every man that shows up as a messenger, I just adore that because, and that's something I tell girls, if you're getting on online dating or you're dating, it's practice, see it as practice. This is a moment for you to learn and grow. And so even when it doesn't work out, it is working out for you. And when you show up with that, rather than go, and I often tell girls, I'm like, pat yourself on the back and say, I'm proud of you. Good job. Like, good job. You showed up for this date and you keep showing up and you keep growing as a result. But I love that. I could talk all about number 2 for like ever, but we'll move on to number 3.
What you mentioned too, I know you don't know what these 5 secrets are that I'm going to share, but we'll get more into that for sure. It's so important. So number 3 is believing that it's possible. I touched on that a little earlier. And you can even ask, is this something that happens for you? Are you the person who gets what you want in any area of your life, including love. So many women, and I was certainly this way myself, it's like part of their identity that they were just fine on their own, like that. This was me. I'm fine on my own. I was successful. I didn't need a man, right? So I had to own the part of me that really wanted true partnership and a real close, committed relationship too. And, owning that, believing it was possible for me. This isn't just something that happens for everyone else. And I'm the girl who's unlucky in love. So what story are you telling yourself? And sometimes you're not really conscious of it, right? You're just it's going on a kind of deeper level. But everyone listening, I'd love to hear from you. If you like to type it into the comments, right? Are you the person who gets what you want? And for me, I waited until I truly believed with every fiber of my being, this is going to happen quickly. So I met my husband online, but this could work no matter where you're meeting men, right? I am going to meet the love of my life. I'm not going to be on here for months and months and months. I'm going to like dip in and dip out of this. I'll meet a couple high quality people. Then I'm going to meet my soulmate. I just waited until I truly believed that. Then I jumped in and did it. Right.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
Yeah, it's not about forcing yourself to down some lukewarm path, forcing yourself to do this thing that you don't want to do. That's never going to work for you. Right. I've certainly online dated in the past, long time ago, with that mentality of like, maybe it'll happen, maybe not. So I knew I wasn't going to do that to myself this time. I waited until I fully believed it 1,000%. Then we're getting into number 4, but do you want me to jump into number 4? Is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off of you saying, owning that part of you that is like, no, I do want to be a wife one day.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I actually, when I do help reconstruct girls' online profiles, it's so funny how specific I get with I am looking for. And it's just like being so specific. I'm looking for a man who confidently pursues me, a man who good communication, integrity. I want to be a wife one day. And like just being that crystal clear. And I feel like what you're just saying about really owning that, it's not that I'm begging or asking anybody to come. It's just that I'm just stating that these are my desires. This is where I'm at. If you are, come pursue me. If you are not, keep passing by. And
I love that. Oh my gosh. I literally just got done doing a live stream over on my YouTube channel about how to talk to a man about what you're looking for. And I love what you said. Yeah. Owning that. You don't need to shrink your desires down. But for me, I know it was hard for me to even be vulnerable enough to admit to myself that was something I wanted. Right. And so I was always the person who everyone else's life around me, friends and family, was just, moving forward. And I was just kind of stuck in the same place when it came to my love life specifically. And I was keeping myself stuck for a lot of reasons, probably a topic for a whole nother interview. But it's okay if you're not ready, but own that and just say he hasn't shown up yet because I must not be ready. That's okay. Do you feel the difference there than, oh my gosh, when's it going to happen? I've been single for 5 years. I hate all these men I'm attracting. Totally different energy. And you're carrying that energy forward into the next experience and the next experience. This is where getting some coaching, I know, can be so helpful. Just to tweak these tiny little tweaks that you can make in your mindset and your thought patterns can set you off on this whole new trajectory, and things can happen so quickly. So yeah, that's number 3. Are we ready for the 4th one?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so once I believed that this was going to happen quickly, and I wasn't trying to force it, I just knew it. It was like a done deal. This is a thing that I want, so this is going to happen quickly. I took inspired action when I felt the call, when I felt that inspiration, right? I'd been putting off online dating or really putting myself out there in any way for probably over a year, maybe a year and a half, as I was healing from some things. Again, not as a great thing that I did. I'm glad that I didn't just jump in before I was ready. Right.
Yeah.
I believe, let me see if I can get these dates right. I had my first counseling session with that therapist I worked with on February 13th. I remember because it was the day before Valentine's Day. 4 days later, I woke up with this super strong impulse to join an online dating app, something I've been putting off forever, right? That was February 17th of 2020. The very next day, February 18th, I started communicating. I met my husband virtually, 24 hours after that. Wow. And then we met up in person February 29th. So it was 11 days after that. And, during that time, obviously I'd worked some more with that therapist. So I was really starting to feel like myself again. Not that the depression just magically went away, but I could feel the difference. I'm putting both feet in and committing to myself and so getting the support I needed. I just woke up and nothing could have stopped me. And like I mentioned at the beginning, this isn't necessarily just about online dating. I don't do private coaching anymore, but a long time ago, one of my very first clients, we had our first session and she felt this inspiration right afterwards to go Christmas shopping. It was like in November or December. And she met her husband while she was Christmas shopping, right? So you can, he was an amazing man. Oh my gosh, such a high quality guy, and just knew that she was like for him. And so the work became like, how do I open up and receive all these amazing, all the love that this guy's giving me? And so I've had so many different examples like that I've heard from women in my community. So it's not just about you have to online date. I mean, I think it's a great thing to do just to practice, like you said, but it could be going to a meetup group, going out with a friend that night, going to the grocery store. Be open to that intuition. That's your feminine energy trying to tell you something. And then your masculine energy puts it into play by putting up the profile, by getting yourself ready and taking yourself to, meet up with a friend or to the meetup group, whatever it is. So when you hear the inspired action, go for it. That's basically it. Rather than trying to force yourself or go through the motions because you think you're supposed to have fun and try and date and meet guys. Do you feel the difference there?
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. I love everything you're saying, but I could not agree more. And I want to just also add a similar thing. I didn't even think of it as inspired action until you just shared that. But almost the same thing. I was going through there. I was doing all this inner healing work. And my husband had left his number for me in the middle of me really working on myself. And for some reason, something spoke to me and said, I'm going to keep his number in case I want to call him one day. And I stuffed it away. I took a picture of it on my phone. And I kid you not, 3.5 months later, I'm laying there. I was about to get online dating because I was feeling like, okay, I think I'm ready to really put myself out there, kind of what you're saying. And literally this thought came in my head, Rachel, start with numbers that you have. And I remembered him from 3 months ago. And I scrolled through my phone, found his number, texted him, and we never stopped talking, never stopped dating from the first date. And then now we're married. So,
oh my gosh,
that's so
amazing.
interesting.
Yeah. It's such a different energy than like, I need to like strategically meet 50 guys to like try and find Mr. Right. Just the energy of that feels exhausting to me. And that's why people don't want to online date, because they're like, and I dealt with that a little bit myself. But then I was like, no, you know what? This is going to happen the way I want it to happen. This is going to happen quickly. I'm not going to be on here for 3, 4, 5+ months. I'm going to be on there quick, meet some people, meet a great guy, my soulmate, and then I'm out of there. And that's exactly how it happened. You always kind of get what you expect 100% of the time. And a lot of people have really bad expectations around online dating because of what they experienced in their past. So you have to start telling yourself a different story in order to shift things on the outside. Again, probably a topic for a whole nother, whole nother day. Absolutely. But that's number 4. I took inspired action when I felt the call. I didn't try and force myself down some path that didn't feel good. I waited until I believed it. This is going to happen quickly. Woke up, nothing could have stopped me. I set the whole thing up in like 20 minutes and I got going with it. And so that's whatever that is for you. You don't know what that inspired action is going to be. So just be open to listening to your intuition like that. Yeah.
I love that. Inspired action. Write that down, girls.
Yeah.
And then what's number 5?
Okay. Number 5 is huge. And I think this will be helpful no matter where you are in your love life. And that is, I saw every single interaction as getting me one step closer to what I wanted. And this actually started before I was actually online dating. So if a guy ghosted me, we found out we weren't on the same page, he went back to his ex, rather than, allowing that to cause me to develop beliefs that, oh, no men want to commit, or I'm not worthy of the love I want, or it's never going to happen. I saw that as a good thing. Okay. Guy ghosted. Okay, good. Great. That means he's not the one for me. And he's making room for the right guy to step in. So I know a lot of people, have you ever heard that phrase, don't let the man who didn't love you keep you from the one who will? It's a great quote. I've heard it a couple times, but one time I
love
remember
that.
earlier this year, it just hit me differently. And I think it's meant for like, don't let the wrong guy make you close your heart down. And that's beautiful. But I saw it in a different way. It was like, don't let the guy who was clearly not your future husband or not the right man for you cause you to develop patterns of thought or beliefs that keep you stuck in this place where you're attracting more and more of what you don't want. Right.
Mm,
So if a guy fades away, he's gone because he's supposed to be gone. It's a good thing. He's making room for the right guy to step in, and the right guy is not going to disappear or
oh my
ghost you.
gosh,
And
yeah.
you guys are going to be in alignment. I promise you that. Right. So I know it's easy for me to say if you're really attached to a guy and you find out that, things aren't going to work out. I know that's devastating. So you want to feel those feelings, of course, but don't allow these setbacks. Don't take them to mean, don't even see them as a setback or an
Mhm.
indicator that you're never going to get what you want. See it as, I'm getting one step closer and I'm getting one step closer. Can you feel the momentum building in the right direction when you think of it that way,
Yes.
rather than I'm back to square one? Oh my gosh, I got to start all over. I got to find someone else. And that takes me forever to meet someone I'm even
Mm.
attracted to. That's like momentum going in the wrong direction. So hopefully you can feel the difference there.
Oh my gosh, I can fully feel inside my
Hmm.
body the difference in those two. This is
Yep.
one step closer. Oh, now I have to start over again. And
I'm even
the
further
amount
away. Yeah.
I'm even further away. I have to, and that is not going to get you where you want. It's just, I know, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Just understanding, how we show up, how we, kind of create the narratives inside of our hearts and our minds, and then what we speak, it matters, and it matters to kind of shift that. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. Would you like to kind of recap the
Yeah.
five?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I know we went over a lot of things. So let me recap. The first one, healing from past relationship trauma or wounds, right? Childhood wounds, emotional triggers, things that are blocking love from coming towards you. I'm just reading off my notes, by the way. I know we're,
Yeah,
we're just keeping
yeah.
this totally unedited. So I have everything in front of me. It's the first time I'm
We
ever
are.
talking about this. Number two, making peace with where you are right now, right? If he's not here yet, that means you're not ready, or maybe he's not ready for you. And that is okay. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean, it's a temporary condition. The absence of what you want is just a temporary condition. And when you remove all the angst around him not being here yet, it opens up that pathway between the two of you. Now is free of all this resistance. So number three, owning your desire and believing it's possible, believing it's going to happen quickly if you want it to happen quickly. Basically, it's going to be as easy or as difficult as you're telling yourself it's going to be.
Mm.
So tell yourself a different story if you need to shift that. Number four, taking inspired action when you feel that call, when you feel that, intuitive hit, go for it. That's maybe you could think of it as your feminine energy, like, your intuition trying to tell you something. Then your masculine energy puts it into play. You get ready, you go out, or you sign up for
Mhm.
an online dating app, something like that. Don't force yourself to do something that doesn't feel fun and easy in the moment. Wait until you feel that inspired action and then sprint down that path rather than forcing yourself down some lukewarm path. Number five, seeing every single interaction as getting you one step closer to the love and relationship you want, or to all of your desires, the money you want, the success, the
Mhm.
fulfillment, adventure, your dream home. This works in all areas of your life. So in your love life, for example, if a guy fades away, you want to be grateful. You want to embody this gratitude in advance for the men who show you right away that they're not the right one for you, right?
Yeah.
If you can embody gratitude in advance when the wrong men show you that they're not your future husband, you're going to attract someone much more quickly who will make you realize why it never worked out with anyone else. That is so important.
Mm.
I'm happy just to end there, just you're going to attract someone that makes you realize why it never worked out with anyone else. As soon as you can
Mm.
embody this gratitude when the wrong guys show you that they're the wrong guys, rather than developing beliefs that all men are terrible, there's no good men left, all men online are cheaters or scammers or liars,
Yeah.
you're going in the wrong direction if that's the momentum you're building. So you want to start building momentum in the right direction. I hope that was
Yes.
clear. Hopefully
Oh
that,
my
again, I've
gosh.
never talked about this in this way before. So this was so much fun. I hope that was helpful for
I
everybody.
I love how you broke all of that down. And I think it is super helpful. And I know that my audience is just going to love you, Helena. Helena, can you, I mean, I want to just say we could probably take each of those numbers and like spend an hour chit chatting about them because they're such big concepts. They're simple but big. So, you know, I just love, I hope that I know this is going to just bless so many people. Can you let people know how they can find you, or what's the best way to get a hold of you or find your things?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if you can include a link where you're posting this, but
I will.
can you? Okay, so you can just
Yeah.
go to my website, helenahartcoaching.com, and I'll include a link too if you're watching this on my YouTube channel or something, wherever I end up posting this. And you can download my free report and audio training if you'd like. It's called 3 Keys to Attract the Man You Want. It's a PDF and about an hour-long audio class I hosted a while back, and that will help you start off on the right foot and attract the right person for you quickly. Or if you have your eye on one particular man, or you're in a relationship, you want to bring him closer, that will really help you no matter where you are in your love life. So that's on my website, helenahartcoaching.com. You can contact me through my website as well. Like I mentioned, I don't do private coaching anymore. I do have a group coaching program that I do with my fellow coach, Chelsea Rose. I'm just thinking about that because enrollment just opened back up. There's been a waiting list pretty much all year, but a few spots just opened up. If you're interested in actually working with me personally, that's really the only way to do that. So I can send you that link as well. Yeah. But you can check out my YouTube channel. Just search Helena Hart on YouTube. That's where I'm spending most of my time these days. And yeah, I'll just send you any links that are relevant. You can just post them wherever you post this interview. And I would love to hear how this goes for you. This was so much fun. And yeah, I'd love to bring you on my channel sometime and hear more about your story. I know you mentioned, you know, your relationship with your husband. I'd love to hear more about that. So this was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Helena, for coming on to speak on my platforms. So excited. And I will absolutely put all of her links and ways to follow her and get in touch with her below in the show notes. So anyways, that is all we have for today. I look forward to talking with all of you next week. And again, go find ways to get in touch with Helena in the show notes below. So love you guys. Bye.
Bye.